Hello everyone, my name is Luke. I am a member at Westwood. Most of you I'm sure know me, but if you don't, just a little bit of background on me. I used to be on the tech team a long time ago before we got actual tech people like yourselves, but now I'm on the worship team and I do a few other things around Westwood. But I just wanted to make this video just to kind of highlight an area where I think we could improve and that we should just keep up on best practices for. This area is just kind of slides and how to run slides, how to just the kind of the best practices for that. So the reasons for doing this, we're not trying to, we may have moved into a new building. We're not trying to be a mega church or anything like that. We don't have light shows or anything. But what we want to do is we want to do the best job that we can to glorify God. Now, ultimately, that is our goal. Anyone who's doing any job of the church, the pastors, the just people in the worship team, people in the tech team, people doing security, their job is to do their job to the best of their ability so they can glorify God in what they do. So that's one of the things that, or that's the reason, of course, that we're doing this. I think this is one of the ways that we can do it. So we're going to take a look at just one specific best practice that would be good for running the slides, which is just switching the slides at the right time, the appropriate time, just so the congregation can follow along as best they can. So we want to make that job easy for them so that they don't look at us, right? They're not looking at the worship team if we're playing a bunch of wrong notes, or they're not looking at the tech team if, the slides aren't up or something like that. You know what I mean? If they don't know we're there, or they don't see anything wrong, then that's good. Like, especially on the tech team, I know being there, if they don't know you exist, that is the best thing that can happen for your day. So I wanted to run through an example. I have a song here, Sooner Count the Stars. It's one that we sing semi-regularly. So let's run through that. I want to run through basically the way not to do it and the way that it should be done. Specifically, we're going to highlight when to change the slide to the next slide. So a lot of times what happens is we change the slide after the last word on the slide has already been sung. And then what that causes is when you're singing it and the next words, so the words on the next slide are coming out like consistently from whoever's singing the song, that is going to cause the person who's in the congregation reading the words when they may not know the words to the song, it's going to cause them to have to play catch up because they'll sing the last word on the last slide, we'll change it, but the word has already been sung, or the word's already being sung on the next slide. So what we want to do is change the slide as the last word is at the beginning of the last word being sung, or the last syllable. I think probably the last word, but either or. So let's take a look at an example. I'll bring the words up on the screen, and then I'm going to play the song. We're going to do the first verse and the first chorus. So for example, let's do it how it probably shouldn't be done, and sing along with it. You don't have to actually sing, of course, but try to sing along with it, at least in your head, just so you get an idea of where we're coming from. So let's go ahead and do this, and I'll switch the words on the slide here. But again, just notice if you're able to follow along. Pretend you don't know the song.
I could sooner count the stars than number all your ways. Though I only know in part, that part exceeds all praise. The sunlight fills the skies, your goodness fills my life. For all your precious gifts, receive my gratefulness.
All right, so that's actually not that bad, even if you do it after the last word has already been sung on the slide, because the lyrics aren't just continuous. There's kind of a little break at the end of each phrase. So that's actually not too bad there. It's not going to make a big difference the way you do it. But here's why I don't think we should do that still. Let's roll over to the chorus here, and then we'll see maybe a little bit more where this comes into play. So let's look at this here.
No praise is high enough, no thanks is deep enough, no life is long enough to tell of all you've done. No shout is loud enough, no words are strong enough, no song is sweet enough to sing your love.
Okay, so I hope you notice it, but basically it's really between, let me go back here. It's basically between. So the first part of the chorus, and this little second part, and then between the third part and the fourth part, when they're saying, no thanks is deep enough, immediately right after that, it launches into no life is long enough to tell of all you've done. And think about it from the perspective of someone who just shows up to Westwood or just doesn't know the songs quite yet that we sing. They're trying to read this, and by the time they read no thanks or is deep, or like no thanks is, they've seen deep enough. If you read like that bottom line, if you're reading it maybe even for the first time, once you read like the first three words, you see those last two. You've read them. Your mind subconsciously does it as you're reading song or reading words just in general, but especially reading songs. Your brain is processing what you're gonna say. Your brain is saying, or your mouth is saying something, and your brain is already reading the next part. So it especially is between, they don't know after no thanks is deep enough. They don't know the next word is no. So when we do that and we say no thanks is deep enough, and we immediately launch into no life is long enough. If we say no thanks is deep enough, no life is long, they're already behind, and it takes them a second to catch up. So what we want to do is, and we'll kind of run through this again, what we want to do is we want to change the slide right at the beginning of the last word on the slide. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Again, this is not an issue because your brain has already read it. By the time you've read halfway, across the line, your brain's already read the rest of the line. That's kind of being conservative. Sometimes you just read the entire line right as you're singing the first word. If you don't think I'm right, you can actually probably do it if you were to just look at a line of text. You could probably instantly see all of it and then just be able to recount in your head. So let's take a look at it again. What we should do, changing it on the last word of the slide.
I could sooner count the stars, the number all your ways, though I only know in part, the part exceeds all praise. The sunlight fills the skies, your goodness fills my life. For all your precious gifts, receive my gratefulness.
Again, this specific thing right here, it's a really long last word, and it's the end of the verse. So there is some leeway there. I waited. Yeah, you can technically wait until after the last word has been sung, until the next verse is starting. But I would only recommend that if you're comfortable with the song, you really know the song, and you really know that there's no words coming right after that. Especially if it's like a really, really long word, you could leave into like the second to last syllable or something like that. But yeah, again, I would just recommend at the beginning of the last word, I would start to change it, unless there's like a huge long word with a bunch of syllables all spread out like this here. But let's go to the chorus and see the difference. Let's go here.
No praise is high enough, no thanks is deep enough, no life is long enough to tell of all you've done. No shout is loud enough, no words are strong enough, no song is sweet enough to sing your love.
I kind of messed up there because I didn't actually change the change the slide. But you see if I waited until afterwards and you were kind of playing catch up to read the next slide. So yeah, I mean it truly does make a difference if we do this correctly, if we do this right. So this is something that I would wholeheartedly recommend you put into practice. Try it with other songs. Go back and watch the video. See the difference between the two. It may not seem like a whole lot, especially when you know the song. But for someone that doesn't know the song, or that doesn't know the lyrics of the song, isn't familiar with it, doesn't sing it, outside of Sunday morning, it truly, truly makes a huge, a world of difference. So I would recommend just going back if you need to, watching that part of the video, look at the difference between the two. It truly, truly does make a difference. So again, this is all about, we should try to do this to glorify God, do our jobs to the best of our ability, to glorify God, to bring more exaltation to Jesus. That's what we're after here. We're not after perfection. We're not after anything like that. We're just trying to do the best we can. So this is just something helpful, hopefully a helpful video to you, just so that you can help the congregation sing and focus our attention on Jesus. So thanks so much. If you made it to the end of the video, take care.